When Jermain Charlo's cell phone went silent in June 2018, her family suspected something was wrong. She was very active on social media. She posted about everything. Badlander Morajo, Charlo's aunt, told 48 Hours. So for her to not be active on social media, then I knew something was not right. When Charlo didn't respond to calls or texts, Morajo, sick with worry, reported her missing to the Missoula Police Department. 6 years later, Charlo still has not been found. During that time, the Missoula Police Department and other agencies have been hard at work. What have investigators discovered about what may have happened to Charlo? And will she ever be found? The story begins on the night Charlo was last seen. June 15, 2018, last night out at the Badlander bar. On the night she disappeared, Jermain Charlo was at the Badlander bar in Missoula, Montana, around midnight. She's captured in the alley behind the bar on security camera footage excerpts, shared exclusively with 48 Hours. Charlo, second from left, is highlighted. Detectives spoke to multiple people who were in the alley, including the man standing behind Charlo. He's Michael DeFrance, Charlo's ex-boyfriend and the father of her 2 children. Charlo and DeFrance had plans together that night, though it's not clear why they met up or what they discussed. June 15, 2018, just before midnight, disappearing into the night. Just before midnight on June 15, Charlo and DeFrance walked away in the alley behind the Badlander bar, as seen in this screenshot from security footage. Where did they go next? When investigators asked Michael DeFrance that question, he told them the same thing he told Charlo's family when they asked. That he and Charlo had gotten into his truck and then he dropped her off at the Orange Street Food Farm, a supermarket about a 5-minute drive from the Badlander. In a subsequent police interview, however, DeFrance amended his story. He said that in fact he dropped Charlo off not at the Orange Street Food Farm itself, but in a residential area 8 blocks west of the store. He said he dropped her off there because Charlo told him she was staying with a friend named Cassidy who lived nearby. Detectives found the change in DeFrance's stories interesting. They also were unable to find anyone in Charlo's life named Cassidy. It turned out that Charlo didn't really intend to stay at a friend's place that night, but at the apartment of her then-boyfriend Jacob, who lived in the area. Jacob was out of town but had told Charlo she could stay at his place. Jermain's family suspects that she did not want to tell DeFrance about her relationship with Jacob and may have lied to him about Cassidy. June 16, 2018, just before 1 a.m., Jacob tries to call Jermain Charlo. Shortly before 1 a.m. that night, Charlo's boyfriend Jacob attempted to call her cell. She never picked up the phone. Instead, it rang several times before going to voicemail. Jacob told police he suspected that somebody purposely ended the call. Though detectives never considered Jacob a suspect, he was out of the state that night. They did talk to him further to see what else he might know. He told them that the day before Charlo disappeared, she told him that Michael had been yelling at her, asking if she was dating anyone and wanted to get back together with her. DeFrance has also never been named a suspect in Charlo's disappearance. June 17, 2018, Jermain Charlo reported missing. On June 17, 2018, Charlo's mother reported her missing to the Tribal Police Department on the Flathead Reservation, but because Jermain went missing in Missoula, it would have to be reported to the Missoula Police Department. Family called Missoula police but learned that the report had to be made at the station in person, not over the phone. So on June 20, 2018, Badlander Morajo, Charlo's aunt, made the drive to Missoula and spoke with an officer to file an official report. Late June 2018, the community surges. After Charlo disappeared, her family took matters into their own hands and contacted local organization the Lifeguard Group for help. Volunteers came out in support to search for Charlo. This was just the first of many searches the community would hold over the months and years to come. We've told the family that we're not going to stop no matter what. And we will search for Jermain as if she's alive until we find her, said Lowell Hochholter, president and co-founder of the lifeguard group. June 26, 2018, the lead detective. The Missoula Police Department's investigation began the day Morijo reported her niece missing. However, the first detective assigned only worked the case briefly before he had scheduled time off. It wasn't until June 26, 10 days after Charlo disappeared, that Det Guy Baker was assigned to the case. He would doggedly lead the investigation for the next 6 years, determined to find Charlo. I'm very much committed to finding her, Baker told 48 Hours. I want to bring justice to Jermain and hold accountable who's responsible. June 27, 2018, the cell phone data. On June 27, 2018, detectives obtained data linked to Charlo's cell phone. The data indicated that between the hours of 2 a.m. and 10 a.m. in the early morning hours of June 16, 2018, after she disappeared, Charlo's cell was pinging off a cell tower in the area known as Avaro Hill. Avaro Hill is a rugged, heavily forested area north of Missoula, and it's where DeFrance, Charlo's ex-boyfriend, was living at the time. DeFrance told investigators that he dropped Charlo off in Missoula around 1 a.m. So, why was her phone pinging north of the city hours later? DeFrance changed his story and told investigators that Charlo's phone was with him. Missoula County Deputy Attorney Brittany Williams told 48 Hours, in a subsequent interview. DeFrance provided a statement that she left her cell phone and he attempted to go through her cell phone and he was unable to get into her cell phone. Then DeFrance told authorities that 2 days later on June 18, while Charlo's family was desperately calling law enforcement for help, he discarded Charlo's phone in Idaho at mile marker 94 on Highway 12. Law enforcement searched the area but never found the phone. The phone's never been recovered, confirms Baker. Charlo's family wonders why DeFrance would throw Jermain's phone away. Baker declined to comment on a possible motive for disposing of the phone. 48 Hours requested an interview with DeFrance through his attorney. He declined our request. June 27, 2018, Michael DeFrance's mother speaks to police. On the same day that the cell phone data was obtained, officers from the Missoula County Sheriff's Office went to DeFrance's property and spoke with his mother Jennifer DeFrance. According to police documents, Jennifer DeFrance told an officer that Charlo had never been to the residence. She also reported that Michael was still in love with Jermain and wanted to get back together with her. Summer 2018 swept away in an instant. Over the remainder of the summer, detectives investigated the idea that Charlo may have been a victim of human trafficking. We had some information early on that there might have been some people in Missoula from out of state that were trying to buy a girl. Baker told 48 Hours. And I was thinking there was a connection there. Williams described the trafficking situation in the state. I think people have an idea that Montana is rural and undeveloped, and we don't have major crimes that occur here, she said. But the fact of the matter is, we have one of the largest interstates that runs through our state right here through Missoula, Montana. There are people who can be swept away in an instant. Eventually, investigators were able to rule out the idea that Charlo was a victim of human trafficking. Williams told 48 Hours in 2024, I think that we have enough evidence through this investigation that lends itself to believe something else has happened to her. August 2, 2018, a warrant for Michael DeFrance's property. An officer with the Missoula County Sheriff's Department filed a search warrant application on August 2, 2018. That stated the officer had reason to believe that a crime had been committed in Missoula. The application asked a judge to approve a search of DeFrance's property on Avaro Hill. The officer hoped to visually observe and simultaneously video record by ground or air, at any time of the day or night. the outside of the premises including all grounds. It also asked for thermal imaging of the property. Documents showed that the search warrant application was approved by a judge, but officers declined to comment on the results of any of their searches of the DeFrance property. They do confirm that Charlo has not been found, and Michael DeFrance has never been named a suspect or charged with anything in relation to her disappearance. October 2, 2018, firearms seized. In October 2018, police conducted another search of DeFrance's Avaro Hill property. At this point, Charlo had been missing for more than 3 months. On the property, officers found and seized guns including the ones pictured. DeFrance had a prior conviction that prohibited him from owning firearms. In May 2013, DeFrance had pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor charge of partner or family member assault against Charlo, his then-girlfriend. When DeFrance was sentenced for this incident, part of his sentence was a loss of his firearm rights. According to a 2013 police report, DeFrance admitted to hitting Charlo with an open hand, then twice more with his fist. Charlo reported that DeFrance had shoved her onto the hood of his van, punched her in the ear, the temple, and the cheekbone, and then spit in her face and told her she was horrible. In October 2018, Baker asked DeFrance if he was aware he wasn't supposed to have firearms because of his previous conviction. According to court documents, DeFrance replied, "I was never clear on that." 2019 to 2021, the trail goes cold. In October 2018, Charlo's family and the Confederated Salish and Kootenai tribes put her information on a billboard. They hoped that someone would drive by and recognize Jermain. For 6 years, her gaze has haunted drivers as they travel down that road. Baker wouldn't tell 48 Hours much about his investigation, as it is ongoing and many of the documents are sealed. But he insists the case never truly went cold. He has been consistently searching for Charlo over the years, and the investigation has never stopped. He is committed to finding Jermain. "I guess when I see that billboard, I'm frustrated," he said. "I've never worked a case like this before. We've tried to uncover and turn over every rock possible." July 28, 2021, Michael DeFrance arrested on firearms possession charges. In July 2021, Michael DeFrance was arrested for possession of the firearms police had confiscated in 2018. The case was investigated by the FBI. In October 2021, an indictment charged DeFrance with 1 count of prohibited person in possession of firearms and ammunition, and 3 counts of false statement during a firearms transaction. April 26, 2023, Michael DeFrance goes on trial for firearms violations. DeFrance was found guilty of all 4 counts of firearms-related violations after his 2-day trial in federal court. Charlo's mother and her aunt Valenda Morijo both testified to the nature of Charlo and DeFrance's relationship around the time of the 2013 partner or family member assault conviction. And Baker spoke about finding the guns at DeFrance's residence. DeFrance was sentenced in September 2023 to 21 months in prison and was given a lifetime ban on firearms and ammunition. On the same day, DeFrance filed an appeal. He has not served any time pending that appeal. Today, hoping for justice. Jermain Charlo's family still hopes that one day she might be found, though they no longer believe she is alive. For Charlo's Aunt Danny Matt, justice for Charlo means bringing her home and letting her rest with our family up on the hill. "I will never stop looking for her," said Morijo. "I've met so many families that have had a loved one disappear. And I want other families to know that, like, it's okay to keep pushing and it's okay to keep their name out there. We have to fight for justice for our loved ones." Have information? If you have any information about Jermain Charlo's disappearance, contact Missoula Police Detective Guy Baker at 406-552-6284.